Good evening, race fans. It's Sunday evening, and I have promised you all week there might be something different going on this Sunday. And here it is. It is the PGS Esports Formula One cross-play season. This is the pre-season of the Tier 2 event, brought to you live from one of the best F1 circuits, the Hungary ring. Drivers love it, commentators love it, fans love it. It's a really, really awesome circuit. This is the pre-season event. The season starts next week. Shall we have a look at the driver lineup? This is the driver lineup for the season. You might have been able to see it, but that's how we're looking. We've got a full complement of drivers. It's a bit small actually. That's how the season looks. So we start out, or they start out next week, for the 30th of July in Canada at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. One of my personal favourites of the calendar. Actually, I love Canada. I love Great Britain, but it's not on the calendar, unfortunately, which is a bit annoying. Abu Dhabi the week after, then Spain at the circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. Then off to Autodromo José Carlos Pache into Lagos. You notice my accents are shit. That's in Brazil, of course. United States Grand Prix at Cota. Then to Mexico for Hermanos Rodriguez. Jeddah Street Circuit in Saudi Arabia, followed by Marina Bay in Singapore. Suzuka, one of the most iconic racing circuits in the world, for week 9. Week 10 to another iconic track in Spa in Belgium. Expect that to be wet, it usually is. Bahrain International Circuit for the race number 11. And race 12, welcome to Miami. And that's how the season looks for this PGS Season 3 tier number 2. We'll have a look at runners and riders in a minute. But let's go over to Crofty and find out a little bit more about this brilliant racetrack. And yes, I know it's a 2022 version. I haven't updated it for 2023 yet.
We're live on the outskirts of the capital, Budapest, at a track that's extremely popular with both the fans and our drivers. I'm talking, of course, about the Hungary ring, and we're about to begin the Hungarian Grand Prix. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungary ring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour.
Thanks very much, Crofty. So there you go. That's what you need to know about the Hungary ring. That's pretty much it. If you expect me to remember corner names or anything along those lines, it's never going to happen. But we'll see how we crack on with qualifying. It's qualifying and 50% race. The lobby. So lineup, it's got me at the top of the trees for some crazy reason. I am only a spectator. I say only a spectator, but I'm not racing. It was me as our glorious host. This is the current leaderboard. Obviously, there's no real leaderboard to speak of because they haven't raced yet. Thanks very much, Bendit. I will look into that thing you sent me, but as you know, I did a lot of broadcasts this weekend. I'm very, very tired. I'll get on with it. I'll do it tomorrow. So yeah, send me the replay across. I'll have a look and I'll have a chat with the lads tomorrow. But thanks for sending that to me. So it was me, Jamie, and Number, Jevi. That's all you're getting. I'm not trying to pronounce that surname there. Ties, Jesper Breezy, Disco Bobby, Gias, Wombat, Nibman, El Compadre, Zippo Plays, Wide Eyes, Costa Sar. That's the lineup this evening. Not a full complement of drivers, but not too shabby. Yeah, I'm going to make the problem I had is that although there was generally a couple of hours in between stints, because of the overlaps with the handovers and stuff, and the fact that some cars were a couple of laps back, by the time I got the handovers were done and I got off and you wired up, it's only like an hour before you're thinking you don't want to go to sleep in case you can't in case you can't get back up again. But no, it turned out awesome, and what a finish! I don't know if you saw the finish to the Nürburgring 24. Sorry, I'm chatting away to one of the watchers, should say, off the back of the Nürburg 24-hour race this weekend, of which I was part of the broadcasting team. It was mental because the Race Asylum team essentially dominated. Of the 12 stints, they dominated 10 of them. But unfortunately, they didn't dominate the one that really mattered, which was the final stint. And I know in stint 11, the last stint I did, is that the second close, they were 1.5 minutes clear at the start of that sort of penultimate stint, with sort of 4 hours remaining, and that entire 2 hours, the gap was just closed from 1.5 minutes down to about 10 seconds. So when the handover happened, and then you had the RA guy and the I forgot what they were called, the other team. I've just broadcasted for the last 24 hours. I've got to remember the team. Clockwise Motorsport team, who eventually went on to win. They nicked it and went on to win. Big guide for the RA guys, because I think they put in the most significant effort. But, you know, when safety cars and bits and pieces come into play, it does make a massive difference. Anyway, back to tonight's proceedings. This is the Hungarian Grand Prix for PGS Esports Formula 1. It is short qualifying, 18 minutes, followed by 35 laps. The beauty of the Hungaroring, and I think the reason why it's such a popular circuit, if that does pop up on the screen, you can't see it at the moment, but there's a thing that keeps popping up. My controller is a bit dodgy, so when I move it, sometimes it pops up little messages to me. The beauty of the Hungaroring really is that it's such a fast-flowing circuit. And that's why I think the drivers love it so much, is that you've got the undulations, you've got the elevation changes, the corners come thick and fast, particularly when you get through sort of sector 2. It really does change its layout completely. I think I'm assuming everyone we're waiting for is here. So I don't quite know what the hold up is. This is obviously why you have pre-season races, because it helps you iron out teething problems, of course. Look at me multitasking. No, since I start typing, I can't pay attention. I've got the attention span of a nutter. There aren't that many. I was looking up the corner names for Hungary, because there isn't actually many. You've got Turn 4, which is the Nigel Mansell, and Turn 11, which is the John Lacey, pretty much. But everything else is just called Curve 1, Curve 2, Curve 3. So that can't be that hard to remember, surely. Surely. There are some unofficial corner names, of course, but we're not going to go into those. Maybe we'll make some up as we go along, and we'll adopt them as a permanent fixture for PGS. We'll see, won't we? We will see. Shouldn't have any technical problems. Everything's been working fine so far today. We'll soon see. There's still plenty of opportunity for it to go horribly, horribly wrong, of course. So everyone checked in and ready. Obviously, I don't need to do that because I'm a spectator. So we've got 18 minutes of qualifying. It'll be interesting to see what sort of pace these guys are. A lot of Portuguese drivers in. We've got the Danish. No, that's Danish, and that's the Swedish. Norway. That's Norway. So Jesper Wombat and Nürnberg. They're all from Norway. It was me. He's from the world. Voice chat suspended. That's fine. I don't mind, because I don't do it anyway. I stay muted, of course. This is a crossplay lobby, so some are on PC. Most notably, Wide Eyes and Nürnberg. Disco Bobby, in fact. Disco Bobby, Nibman. They're all working off their EA accounts, so I can't tell you what they're on. Quite a lot of PlayStation, though. Quite a lot of PlayStation. We know on F1 2022, crossplay was woeful. Absolutely woeful, and didn't work very well, which is why a number of the leagues that I broadcast last season ditched it. It seems so far, from what I've heard, that crossplay is significantly better this time out, and we know that this incantation of the F1 games, and I think I've already made my feelings clear about bringing out a new game every year, to basically fleece the people that, because they know we're going to spend the money on it rather than just doing an update. But it is significant improvement on 2022. So for 2024, all they need to do is an update to this, really, with new drivers and etc. etc. So just a 6-second countdown before we are live. So here we go. This is PGS Esports Formula 1. I'm Urban Pirate, Black Flag Racing TV. I think there's a problem with the Twitch stream, and I think that is because you can't broadcast just several Twitch streams at the same time. Yeah, it looks to me that can't happen. So you've got the tier 1 on the Twitch, and you haven't got the tier 2. So yeah, it's not coming up, unfortunately, and there's no sound either, which is a bit concerning. I don't know how that happened, but it will be available on the YouTube and the Twitch later on. It's on my YouTube now, of course, because it's live. But yeah, so despite the fact that it is being broadcast to Twitch, it's not showing up on the Twitch because it's being overridden by tier 1. So that's something quite interesting, because you can broadcast several on YouTube. It's no secret I'm not a big fan of Twitch, because I think the problem we've got with Twitch is that it's very good for live events and giveaways and all that kind of thing. But when it comes to sim racing, the problem we've got is that the majority of the audiences are not necessarily watching it live. They're coming back later on, and that's where YouTube is strongest over Twitch. It has that functionality, and let's face it, the Twitch chat is toxic as shit. It's just full of children shouting at each other and making knob jokes. I love the way it's just told me my headset's disconnected. It's not even connected, but as I said, my controller is in a bad way. Once we get on board, I want to get my track map up while we're waiting. Track map. I don't want the mini one. I want the big one. Then we can see sector times and see people crashy. Who's first out? That is Jamie in the Red Bull. Where is he? A few cars coming out, but I think Jamie's going to be first out on track. So Jamie's going to be the one that gets the love and gets the onboard here. Let's get. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. We'll get rid of all of this kerfuffle. So here we go. Hungaroring. Turn 1, turn 2 into now sweeping left-hander. You've got to get your tyres up to proper temperature before you really let it go around here. Then you head down. You've got that sector 1 complete. Sweeps round to this left-hand side, just dropping down the gears just to get it slowed enough before you get on those brakes and all the way back on yourself. And I think there's 4 or 5 turns here where it is essentially just a big 180 switchback through this tricky chicane. You get that wrong, you go on the grass, you are leaving carbon fibre on that racetrack. Sector 2, nice and twisty, nice and technical, which is why I'm awful at this racetrack. It's lovely to drive, but I am god awful at it. Before you get on the blast into Sector 3, and there's 2 DRS zones. The second DRS zone is a bit of a pissy little one, from turn 1 to turn 2. Not really much benefit from that, but every little helps, of course. And then you've got the final sector, which is a series of a couple of 180 switchbacks. This being the second, which is where you get on the power and go, blast down the start-finish line. And here we go. This is a hot lap on border with Jamie in the Red Bull racing car. Using all of the road, very key through the DRS zone, the second DRS zone, of course. Should we turn up the engine sounds? Because I love the engine sounds of these cars. Let's do that. You want to listen to that rather than me. And across the line he goes. And that is the fastest lap of the race so far from Jamie. So, good-o. We got to see him put in the hot lap of 1:16.7, which is not too bad a time to be starting out with. A Breezy in the Williams is joining him on front row with Noonbear. Also in that Williams racing car, and I do like the Williams racing livery this year. A lot of people don't like it; they think it looks a little bit cheap, but I quite like it. I like those. See, I like little novelty things on F1 cars. If you think back to the Jordan Benson and Hedges Shark kind of scenario, and I love that little Duracell battery thing on the top of the Williams. I don't know. It's a little detail. It's marketing genius. It's brilliant, and I love it. And I think you'll remember this car for years to come because of that Duracell thing. It's one of the things that makes the car special. So front row is Jamie and Breezy. We've seen Numair drop down a little bit as Ties and Wide Eyes or Wild Eyes put themselves on row 2 in the Aston Martin and Alpha Tauri respectively. Another Alpha Tauri there is Giehaus, 1:17.7, nice and close in terms of pace at the moment. He is on row 3 with Noonbear. Row 4 is It Was Me. It wasn't, but it was him. He is in the Ferrari 1:18.0, and he's joined by his compadre, El Compadre, also in an Aston Martin. Nibman in the Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-Benz Petronas, and you'll learn over the course of the season that I am not a fan of Mercedes-Benz or Lewis Hamilton. Fortunately, because of some of my sponsors, I have to. I'm not allowed to be horrible about Lewis Hamilton live anymore, so I won't. What do we need to know about the rest? Well, Jesper's still not out. Set hot lap. He's out on an out lap now, actually, or is it a hot lap? I think it's an out lap. Zippo Plays is done. Is that because he's broken or just disconnected? We will find out soon. GV, is it V? How do you pronounce that? Jevi. I'm going with Jevi. Jevi in the Alpine, still not come out yet. Costasar is on an outlap at the moment. So just 2 cars left. Septile Zippo Plays is not going to do it because he's ghosted out. But Jamie's still on pole with that 16.7. Breezy joining with the 16.9. They're the only 2 cars that have gone sub 1:17 as yet. I'm sure that as the track rubbers in, as the drivers find their lines, that we'll start to see those times go tumbling. And we've got 11 minutes left of qualifying. At some stage, I'm going to fumble my words today. Very likely. It's going to be for a number of reasons. One, because I've been talking pretty much all day for the N24. And 2, because I am a blithering idiot for the most part. There we go. There we have it. So, Jamie is your current pole sitter. Who's on track that we can watch go round? There's Jesper at the moment, currently on row 2 in the Haas. I think that Haas looks like a very boring car. Its performance this season is better than it has been. And let's face it, they have the coolest team principle in Formula 1. If you don't love Gunther Steiner, and secretly want to work for him. I mean, anyone will want to work in F1 if they had the opportunity. But if you don't secretly want to work for Gunther Steiner and don't secretly want to spend some time having some beers with that lad, then you need to give your head a wobble, my friend, because he is brilliant, utterly brilliant. I'm going to just very quickly have a look and see if I can get the Twitch side of things working. I don't think I can. I think the problem we've got is that because the Tier 1 is broadcasting, it's preventing Tier 2 from broadcasting, despite the fact that I had a thingy set up. Let me reply to someone looking for this. I'm just going to mute for a sec because I talk to myself while I'm typing. Hang on. There you go, done. Yeah, I'm not a very good multitasker. And probably not ideal for someone so utterly turd at multitasking to be a broadcaster. Because it involves pressing buttons and talking at the same time. But usually because I'm talking rubbish, it comes from a different part of the brain than my motor functions. Right, so we do have a change out in front, and Nürnberg has gone quicker. There's now 4 cars sub 17. Nürnberg in the Williams has gone 1:16.6 and knocked Jamie down 2 seconds. They're both still on the front row, but no longer on pole. Costa Sar. Really rolls off the tongue, Costa Sar, doesn't it? 16.9 in the Alpine, with Breezy still clinging on in that top 4. Then we go into the 117s, and that is led at the moment by Thais Coviero, and in the Aston Martin Cognizant car. Jesper, who's that? Just muscled their way in. That's a Giaus, part 13. I'm assuming the other 12 weren't available. 117.3. If I do insult you, the intention is not very low. Yeah, let me get this out there. I often say what is on my mind, and sometimes it sounds funny. It's not intended as an insult. If you want to take it personally, you're quite welcome to. But just let me rest assured that it's not personal. Please don't try and take it personally. I'm not digging you out. And suck it up, Buttercup. Thais is now on pole with the 16.6. As I said, as the track rubbers in, it would start to get a little spicier, and already we're seeing those times a tumble with 6 minutes left of qualifying. So there's going to be those out there setting a hot lap. They're going to be laying down some times now, but they're only really going to get one more opportunity. And yes, there we go. I told you at some point it would tell me that my controller was disconnecting, which is a right pain. I really apologise for that. I do have a backup of my steering wheel is a adequate backup, but yeah, I need to invest in a new control. I do want to say, if Sony's listening, right, I've had one PlayStation 5, right, I use a steering wheel the majority of the time, apart from broadcasting when I use a keyboard or in combination with a controller, right, so I'm not smashing buttons all day long, right. Why am I already onto my 3rd controller in the same amount of time I've had one PlayStation 5? I'm not using it to drive a bloody submarine. I'm using it to go through a few menus. Sort it out, man. It's ridiculous. Run over. My steering wheel gets battered. My pedals get battered and used significantly more. And they haven't crapped out yet. But that's probably because they're well made. Thais is still your pole sitter. I'm going to use the steering wheel now. Nürnberg, I don't know if it's pronounced in that particular way, he's on PC. I found that with 2022, I don't know, I haven't seen much of the crossplay on 2023 as yet, but I found in 2022 that there was a significant advantage on crossplay for PC players with the added frame rate and the added speeds and all that kind of thing. And I don't know if that's the case this time. Crossplay shouldn't be that difficult to make work, but it seems to me that you see it across a lot of games that crossplay is just not quite what you want it to be. So hopefully this time out it works. I mean, I'm sure these guys have done extensive testing beforehand in order to discover that. So Thais is on pole with Nürnberg just behind him on row 1. Jamie now drops down to the 2nd row with Costa Sar. Breezy and Disco Bobby are on row 3. Row 4 is Gilhouse, currently on an outlap. Jesper Meg in the Haas joins him on row 4. Row 5 is Wild Eyes, and it was me in the Fezzer. The Haas of Wombat and Gevi in the Alpine on row 6. Row 7 is Nibman. Is he on row 7? No, he's on row 6 now. Just nipping in there above Wombat, dropping Gevi down to row 7, where he joins El Compadre and Bulk, who I didn't think was going to make it this evening, but he has made it. He is in 15th. Zippo Plays is out already. I'm assuming that is some form of damage. It doesn't say DNF, but I'm assuming that's some form of damage. I don't know. I know there was a problem with the formation laps over the last couple of weeks, because a number of leagues that I'm involved in don't use them at the moment, and I know that the PGSL have had some issues with it as well. But I think, hopefully, touch wood, and there's a lot of it around, it is now fixed properly. Still just the 5 drivers in the sub 117s. Tyes, that's one of these coming out for his final little blast. I think we'll see everyone coming out now, just to try and improve. Tyes will just want to eke another few tenths out of that 16.601, just to make sure, because obviously Number and Jamie and Costa Sar and Breezy all already 117 minus, and we'll be trying to eke out those extra tenths to improve their starting position. And it can be a difficult racetrack to overtake because of the high speed corners here at Hungary. So you really do want to be in a better position on the grid. I mean, you want to be in a better position on the grid anyway, but you know what I mean. So Ty's, Number, Jamie, Costa, Sar, they're your top 4. Zippo Plays is not going to set us a time, so we're not going to get to see what his is. Bulk has got to go for. Now, I talk quite a lot about getting a banker lap in, which you see a lot of drivers do. Go out really early, get a banker lap in, get something on the board, something to aim at, or, you know, even if it is a terrible lap. Bulk hasn't got that banker lap advantage, because Bulk has basically got to do it from the outset with no additional safety net. So he either gets it right or he is at the back. Let's go on board with him as he does this lap now. Will he go purple in sector 1? That's a really, really poignant question, and we'll find out in about 3, 2, 1. That's the sector line. He's not purple there. Obviously, we're not getting green either because he hasn't got a reference lap as such. A little bit track limity wide there as well. There is a yellow flag. Who has decided to park off the racetrack? 2 cars pulling out of the way. That's good sportsmanship, good awareness of the cars around you that will be on a hot lap. Coming to the end of sector 2, are we going to see some purpleness here? I don't think we are. It doesn't look super quick. So no, it wasn't purple. Then we've got these big braking zones at the end of the lap. Big 180 here. You want to get a turn in, you want to be a lot closer to the apex there, to be fair. Look at my criticising one, I can't freaking drive. And certainly a lot closer to the apex there, avoiding the wall. Getting on that power, blast down to the line, and we are going to get a what time for Bulk? A 118.7. So that banker lap not in the bag for him. Is he going to do a double hot lap kind of scenario where he goes out and stays out and goes again? Hopefully, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? If he does another one. But then, of course, you know, you want to have as little weight as possible. And Tyes consolidates that fastest lap with a very respectable 1:16.444. Noonbear does improve with a 16.646. Why can it not be 666? And Jamie with a 16.69. 9. Costa Sar 16.725. That's locked in now. Tyes is locked in as well. He's not going to get another lap in. Disco Bobby with a 16.8. As we're watching Bulk, it didn't look like Bulk going super quick for this. It looks like an in-lap to me. So Disco Bobby on row 3 with a 16.8. We've got another couple of drivers and managed to squeeze that one sub 117 in. Breezy, easy peasy Breezy, down to 6th with a 16.943, and Wide Eyes with a 16.990. Now, what have we got? We've got top 10 separated essentially by 1 second. Nice close grouping in terms of pace. Love it a lot. And it was me, creeps into that top 10 in 9th place. What about Wide Eyes and Breezy and Disco Bobby? Are they still going? Because if they are, there is still a potential for that 1:16.4 held by Tyes to disappear. Breezy, and it does. Breezy takes the pole position, snatches it from Tyes with a 1:16.440. Just 4 1,000th of a second. And Breezy puts that Williams on pole. Fabulous, fabulous lap from him. Nobody else now going hot. So Breezy is going to be your pole sitter. That was absolutely stonking, my friend. Stonking. And that is pole for Breezy. Thoroughly deserved. What can we say about that? I'm not going to go to the soundboard just now. We might do that later. How about that?
Wow, it's very nice.
It's very nice. We'll have a bit of Borat, shall we? Just telling everyone it's very nice. Okay, so Breezy is your pole sitter. Just counting down while everybody else goes through. Ty's put in a fabulous. To be fair, the top 7 all put in a fabulous time, but it was Breezy that just blasted across that line with only seconds to spare to pull in a pole position in this pre-season race here at the Hungary Ring. So there we go. This is the full official rundown. 1:16.440. There it is, confirmed for Breezy in that Williams Renault. Tyres in the Aston Martin, joins him on that front row. Jamie and Numbert Williams and Red Bull on row 2. Costa Sar in the Alpine is joined on row 3 by Disco Bobby. Wild Eyes in the Alpha Tauri is joined by his teammate Guihaus on row 4. Row 5 is It Was Me, it's not, it's him, in the Ferrari, and Nibman in that Mercedes AMG Patronus. Jesper and Wombat in the Haas, side by side on row 6. Row 7 is Gevi and Bulk. El Compadre in the Aston Martin, and Zippo plays in the McLaren, bringing up the back row of the grid. So here we go, 35 great British laps here around the Hungary Ring to decide who is going to be the pre-season winner. And it gives us a good indication going into the season who to watch out for, who's quick, who's not so quick, who needs to practice a little bit more, who's got the additional pace, who's got the smart strategy, who's good with the setups. This is where the drivers start to feel each other out and really start to discover who around them are the people that they need to be racing. Because look, everybody knows that the top 2 or 3 or 4 are going to have their own little race, and then you're going to have yours in midfield. And what you want to do is early on is to be able to find the one person who is essentially your kind of racetrack rival, the person where you want to benchmark your performance. That you know if you outperform that driver, you've had a good day because they are around your level. That's what people are going to be trying to do and get from this pre-season event. You want to go into the opening week in Canada at the Gilles Villeneuve with as much knowledge as possible about the drivers around you. It does take a little bit longer to load in when it's cross-play because in this day and age of wonderful technology, we still can't get different companies' machines to talk to each other properly. For whatever reason. Okay, we are in and ready to go. This is going to be the formation lap, of course. They are doing the formation lap. Or are they just going straight to racing? It looks like they've gone straight to racing by the looks of things. They have indeed gone straight to racing. No formation lap for them. And It Was Me is already out of this race. Is this going to be a red flag? Because he kind of just disappeared off to the side without any real thought. I'm assuming he was clipped and it wasn't thinking. Safety car already. Opening lap 1, and we already have our first safety car, and it was for It Was Me. So devastating. You spend, 2 or 3 hours a week practicing for the race. You spend your 18 minutes doing your qualifying, and then straight off the line, boom, into a wall, carbon fibre everywhere, and you have to sit on the couch and watch it on YouTube and not be involved in the race. And to make matters worse, he's the host. He must be fuming, absolutely fuming. Unfortunately, we don't have a replay function on F1 2022, which is a big crock of turd. So we can't even go back and have a look at what happened to him to cause that. So first safety car of the season. This bodes well, of course. Breezy, who was on pole, loses out from the start. Great start from his teammate Numbert. And we've got two Williams currently leading the way. They're going to get tucked in behind the safety car, which they'll pick up after turn 1. Are they using the Aston Martin, or are they using the much, much, much cooler AMG GT3? I know which one I prefer. I've made no secret of the fact it is my favourite GT car by some significant margin. A couple of drivers jumping into the pits, as you would expect, to maybe change out the strategy. And they are using the Mercedes-Benz AMG GT3. So Nibman and El Compadre jump into the pits. They're going to have a little repair, fix whatever issues have happened to them. It was me, unfortunately, and I'm glad it was him and not me, not able to continue. The car is broken. Very, very broken. We might as well have a look at tyre strats for these guys. Now, I could bring up this stupid menu over here, but I could just look at the tyres. It tells me right here. So, Number is on mediums. In fact, it looks like the front two on mediums. Soft for Costa Sar. So, is he going for a 2-stop strategy? We've got mediums on Disco Bobby and on the Red Bull of Jamie. The Aston Martin is on the soft. That's tyres. Medium compound tyres for Gihas. Mediums also for Wild Eyes, the two Alpha Tauris. The Haas of Wombat on the softs. Gevi on the softs, also in the Alpine. Jesper in the other Haas, also on the soft compound tyres. Now, they're going to want to preserve those tyres as much as possible. Soft, medium and hard. Why would you use hard compound tyres if you can one-stop it with soft and mediums? You'd have to be touched in the head, surely, to be wanting to put on less grippy tyres when the tyres available to you, the softer compounds available to you, get you through. So one-stop race is the suggested strategy. Safety car in this lap. So what will happen is this. Is the safety car will pull into the pits, you can see there. Numbert will become the de facto safety car in the Williams. He will decide when they go, and it will probably be right about now. On the loud pedal he goes, and they blast down to turn 1. This is lap 3, just starting here of 35 at the Hungary ring. And we're live with PGS Esports Formula 1 here on this Sunday evening. Into turn 1 we go. Going to be a couple of laps before we see any DRS because of that safety car. And Breezy gets the job done on his teammate. And you've got to be so careful when you're racing your teammate, because you do not want to be taking out the guy that's sitting beside you in that Constructors' Championship. But Breezy regains the lead of this race from his teammate Numbert. And Costa Sar sticking with them. They are starting just to edge away from tyres in fourth in that Aston Martin. Now, he's on the soft compound tyres, so he's really going to want to close up on the back there and get those soft tyres working. Those that are on the soft tyre strategy obviously are going to be staying out not quite as long. They're going to be going in sooner. Was that a car off the racetrack? That was. That is a Numbert. It's gone very, very wrong. Off the racetrack went Numbert. We've got a yellow flag. Have we got a safety car? Unfortunately, Numbert, under the rules of this game,
you can't park that there, mate.
no, you can't. But he's back out on track. But that was devastating because he was running in second and finds himself now at the very, very back of the pack. So everyone shuffles up a little bit as we see Breezy put in the fastest lap of the race and just open up to just over 1 second. And ideally that's what Breezy will want to do over these next couple of laps before DRS is enabled, is he'll want to just open up that gap to that sort of 1.1, 1.2 seconds at least. So the car behind is not getting benefit of DRS. Now the problem, of course, for Costa Sar, if he doesn't get that DRS, is the tyres behind him, also on the soft compound tyres, in that Aston Martin I'm talking about. Oh, I was going to think it was an Alfa Romeo. In that Aston Martin, he's going to we have to close down on him, particularly in that DRS zone between turns 13, 14, and turn 1. The one between turns 1 and 2, not really much benefit there, other than to kind of set you up for the rest of the lap. But at the moment, the top 4, that's the battle for the top 4. And then we've got a bit of a gap back now. You can see that's 1.8 seconds, nearly 2 seconds now, to the Mercedes-Benz of Disco Bobby. And he is leading his own little train around with Gilhouse with him. And not too far behind, there's Wombat. But Wombat for Company has a Wild Eyes looking all over the place they are. DRS is enabled. Jamie chucking in the fastest lap from 4th. A bit of DRS available to a couple of these cars out in front. As Wild Eyes makes the move on Wombat, side by side they go. Through goes the AlphaTauri. And a little touch there, it looks like, from Wombat as they went through turn 1. So that's one for the stewards to have a little look at, I think. Because Wild Eyes is now down, back up and running again, but down in 12th position. So it didn't go too well there. Numbea has obviously had to go in and repair. Now put on hard compound tyres. Now, this makes sense, hard compound tyres, because he's going to try and run them to the end of the race. So he doesn't have to pit again, which may well play well for him further down the line when everyone else starts to go in. But of course, we had a safety car on that one. We've already had a couple of little comings together. I would say the chances of more safety cars is good. Breezy is using some breeze to his advantage because he's already 2.3 seconds clear in that Williams racing car. The entire field sandwiched between two Williams at the moment. He's on the medium compound as well, so he's not even getting maximum grip. There is Costasar. He is in second. He has got Jamie for company. He's currently the fastest man on the racetrack. And we can see there Jamie closing towards turn 1. Is there an opportunity for a little dive and a move up to turn 1? No, not quite close enough this time. Certainly had a little think about it. You've got this little blast with DRS here down to turn 3. But again, it's such a short blast. You have to be right on the gearbox of the car in front to get any benefit in that second DRS zone. So a whole nother lap to go before he gets that little DRS boost. It's all about exit speed and ERS. Very wide there. Is that going to be a little warning for track limits? Because it looked to me that that was a dangerous interpretation of track limits there for the Alpine driver in Costasar. Back to Disco Bobby, who's currently in 4th. He's got Gearhouse 4 company in that AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri trying desperately to find a way around the Mercedes-Benz of Disco Bobby. Let's actually have a look at the back of the pack because we haven't looked way down here in 15th. It Was Me is gone. Jesper down in 15th place in the Haas. Nürnberg has gained a position in that Williams up to 14th place. 17 seconds behind. Wild Eyes. He's been looking all over the place and couldn't find much, but 13th at the moment. 5.8 seconds behind Nibman. As we see Zippo plays and Bulk making a move on Compadre. Compadre coming to meet me rather than me going up to meet him. There is El Compadre. Spanish, I assume. Maybe not. Maybe Mexico. He's running in that Aston Martin currently. Just 7 tenths of a second behind Bulk. Who is running in 10th in the Red Bull, and he is not too far off the back of Zippo Plays. As we see Gevi making a move on Wombat, do we see a move back? Though Tyres is back there in 8th place. He was mixing with the big boys, but at the moment has found himself just dropping down that order somewhat. But he's going to have DRS on these two cars. He's going to have a bit of slipstream on Wombat and Gevi in front of him, and there is a potential for him to make the move. As we see Breezy opening up a 3.7 second gap over Costasar. Good run out of there for Tyres, but just nowhere to make the move. It is a very difficult track to overtake. There's very few opportunities. Great run on the Haas there. That's one of the great overtaking spots. Great run on that Haas from Tyres, and he makes the move on Wombat look relatively simple. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. apologies for that. We've got a new kitten and someone left the back door open, but didn't tell me he'd actually taken a cat to his room with him. A little bit of a panic, sorry about that. So, we're still on board with Ty's. Ty's made the move on Wombat. It looks like he's going to make the move on Gevy pretty soon, trying to find a way through. Oh, and he spins! He spins! Now, did he catch the back of Gevy when he did it? How much damage has he got as well? That surely is a wing breaker. He's lost all those places. He's going to have to go in and repair some damage. No safety car, though. He did seem to rescue it with a beautiful pirouette. But there doesn't appear to be any damage to that car, despite the fact he really did give that wall a clump. Very surprising, actually, that there is no damage. That's usually a carbon fibre creator, carbon fibre shard creator. But yeah, round and round he went, so that charge is over. But it was showing some great pace until that point, but Ty's dropping way down the order. Shall we have a little look and see at position changes? So, other than Breezy, who was your pole sitter and is still in the lead of this race, everybody has changed position. Jamie's up one from third into second. Costa Sar up a couple of positions. Giehaus up 4. A big winner at the minute is Gevy up 7 positions. And Zippo plays as well, who's gained 8 from 6th from plumb last to 8th place in the Soul McLaren. El Compadre up 6, a Bulk up 4. But, of course, a lot of them have made up those positions at the expense of some of the guys further down the order. We look at Ty's. Ty's now lost 9 positions. And half of those that he lost were after that little spin. As he's just making a move back past Bulk back into that top 10. Nibman in the Mercedes-Benz lost 2. Numbert, we saw him have a little accident on lap 3. Which has forced him into 14th position. And 10 places lost for him. And it was me, he lost 7 places, but was gone at the very, very start of this race. Now, I don't know whether he was clipped. He sort of flew off to the left-hand side, and it certainly doesn't make any sense that he would do that on purpose, unless, of course, that was some sort of technical failure on his part. But that is your race leader currently sitting in first position. That is Breezy, 72.72 in the Williams, and he's already 4.3 seconds clear. Jamie in the Red Bull is trying to chase him down, also on those medium compound tyres, but at the moment doesn't really have any trouble from Giehaus behind him, 2.8 seconds. So we're starting to see the gaps open up here at the Hungary as we are on lap 10 of 35. This is PGS Esports pre-season event. And there's a time penalty there for Gevy. That's the first penalty at 3 seconds for Gevy, which will put him behind Wombat if the race were to end as it currently is. We're at the Hungary. We start out next week. Round 1 will be from the Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, and hopefully we've got a full complement. Well, no, we've got a full complement of 20 drivers signed up, a couple of reserves in place as well. It would be good to see if we got a full lobby next week. Chris Thorpe has joined. I don't quite know why, because you're not going to get to race now, my friend. You can't just jump in and hope to catch up. They're 11 laps ahead of you. Let's have a look on the race where there is a potential battle. There's one here. Compadre is there with Zippo Play. Zippo Play making that move on Compadre and dropping him down to 7th position, but Compadre coming back at him possibly. Tucked in behind that only McLaren. Was Zippo Plays playing a little bit of a cat and mouse game in qualifying, because he didn't put in any representative time, was ghosted out the entire session, started last on the grid and has already snaked his way up to 6th place. Seems to be pulling away a little bit from Compadre now he's made that move. Compadre's teammate just behind him in the Aston Martin as well. Pretty much similar distance. That's the view from board. So we've got this kind of three-way battle going on at the moment for a place in the top 6. Zippo Plays will want to get away from them and try and close on Gevy ahead of him, particularly bearing in mind that Gevy is now carrying a penalty of 3 seconds. Heading to the end here of lap 12, we are firmly past the 1/3 mark of this race. As we start lap 13, which is unlucky for some. Now, pit window is going to be open for those, especially for soft tyre runners, in a couple of laps. I would expect to start seeing those on the softs come in, switch out for those medium compound tyres. Especially if they haven't been working for them. They've not been able to get the overtakes done they wanted to. And that was a great little move ahead. I don't know if you saw that from El Compadre. He got the DRS behind Zippo Plays and then went straight past him with that DRS wide open, as did Ties. And Zippo Plays was a sitting duck. Absolutely nothing you do. And already you can see the massive distance that the DRS has given those two Aston Martin cars. And round Ties goes again in, I think this is the same place. So again, loses back in. He's ghosted out, so he's not going to get clipped. But this time he doesn't hit the wall. But again, we've lost Ties. That's a reset to track rather than C1. Don't know how I feel about that. Oh, who's that? That's Wide Eyes. Wild Eyes also. And Wild Eyes is out. Caution. Yellow flag. We have... yes, I know it's disconnected. It's not disconnected. It's not broken. You idiot. Well, it is broken. It's not... there's nothing wrong with it. Apologies for that again. Bloody thing. So, we've lost two drivers now. Jesper and Wild Eyes. There is Wild Eyes on the left-hand side. We've got a yellow flag, but no safety car, which is nice. Like it when there's no safety car. It doesn't happen very often. So, there we go. We continue on. Two drivers gone. Can't park that there, Wild Eyes. He's our first DNF. No, it's the second DNF because it was me. I wonder why he's not down as a DNF. Right, there's your race leader, Breezy. He's 5.7 seconds clear of the pack. He's got Jamie behind him, and Jamie's got Gias in third in that AlphaTauri, 2.4 seconds back. So the front four really got a race of their own way out, and it's more of a time trial at the moment for these guys. The gaps between them suggest they're not really challenging each other. It may change during the pit window, of course, if a safety car comes into play. That could change things as well. Best of the rest at the moment is Gevi carrying that 3-second penalty. That will put him behind El Compadre. We've seen Ties twice pirouette that Aston Martin. First time he clipped the ball and inexplicably got away with no damage. This time, though, however, it wasn't quite so lucky. He's down in 13th. He didn't get damaged, but he's lost a lot more places. But there's Gevi, 13 seconds behind the top four. And behind him, El Compadre in that Aston Martin. He hasn't got his teammate to help him along anymore. He's got to do this by himself. I think I'm just going to have to do this from the steering wheel and ignore that stupid controller that is now fully broken. There we go. Costa Sar was running in the top three for a little while. Lost a few places, now 3.5 seconds back. And he's got the racy Zippo Plays just behind him in 8th place. And 0.8 of a second is the difference there. We're on lap 14 of 35 at the Hungary Ring. Just 21 laps of this race remaining here on this sunny, warm Sunday evening here in the UK. Can he get that McLaren further up the field? He was up to the dizzy heights of 6th for a little while. 10 places gained for him, but he's just dropped down the order a little bit. Keeping an eye out for cars going into pits, because we are kind of reaching the pit window for those soft compound tyre runners. That is Nibman. He's gone on to the, looks like to me, like he's gone on the hard compound. He's now running on the hard, so his intention is to go to the end of this race on those tyres. Bulk on the softs. He's planning on going race. He started on those soft compound tyres. He's not, gets a little bit tank slappy happy on the way into the final corner. So can't get the that soft grippy rubber down to make a move on Nibman. Not this time anyway. Numbert was running 1-2 with his teammate. He led the race behind that first safety car. Lost out to his teammate Breezy, and then sent the car in the wrong direction. He turned right when he should have turned left, and he's now down in 11th position. Behind him, in the Haas, in fact both Haas, Wombat and Jesper, 1.4 seconds behind Numbert, 17 seconds back to Jesper, who is in 13th. And at the very back of the pack, after a couple of spins in the Aston Martin, is Ties Coviero. running 15 seconds off the pace at the moment. There's your race leader, still comfortable, not over pushing the car. He got the gap out to sort of 5 seconds. No, he doesn't have to worry too much. As Geehouse into the pits, which promotes Disco Bobby up into 3rd position. Geehouse will be changing out those soft compound tyres now, putting on something a little longer lasting. Costa Sar makes the move on Gevi as Gevi comes out of the pits, and then Geehouse immediately into the pits. So, sorry, is he still in the pits, Geehouse? No, he's out now. I don't know why I said he was still in the pits. Gevi there, he's just coming out now, and Bulk into the pits as well. So, we're pretty much bang on for the soft tyre runners into the pits now, getting rid of those. Medium tyre runners, they'll be going in after this safety car, of course. I don't know why we've got a safety car, no one appears to be damaged. So perfect time to go in, of course, under the safety car, because the time loss is significantly less than it would be under full racing conditions. And it can make or break your race depending on where you are when the safety car is called. If you're here, you're coming up to the pit entries, you can see there, Breezy just coming around, he's going to actually dive into the pits. As soon as it's called and you can get in there, it's the biggest benefit to you. If you have to do a full lap of the circuit to go back round, you've passed that entry line, then it might not necessarily be quite as beneficial. The longer the safety car is out and the longer it is before you go in the pits, the less and less and less benefit you get. It's all about getting in there nice and early if you can. But 8.5 seconds is the gap to Jamie at the moment. Jamie's coming in as well. Breezy coming back out, as you can see there. Jamie in and Disco Bobby into the pits. Costa Sar, has he pit yet? I'm not sure that he has. Yeah, where's the place up there, is it? Stopped, and there it is. He has stopped already. He has already been in. He's on the medium compound tyres. It's just Zippo Plays that hasn't been in. He's currently sitting in 7th position. He's in now for his first stop, but he's the only driver that hadn't until that stage been into the pits. 2 stops for El Compadre, 2 for Ties. That'll be for corresponding to the 2 spins that he's already had. Turn on, turn off the stops. Information don't need it. There we go. There is 1 penalty handed out at the moment. That is for Gevi. That is a 3-second multiple warning penalty, which is generally for track limits. I don't usually see that for anything else other than that. We have 14 of the 16 runners still in this fight. Lap 17 of 35 here at the Hungary ring for PGS Esports Formula 1 pre-season race. That's the gorgeous AMG GT3 Mercedes-Benz currently leading the cars round. Is a safety car in this lap? I think we would probably know already, so I think we're going to have to wait another lap to find out. So yes, another go round. So there we go. So that's the Mercedes-Benz go round for it. So it's another lap on the safety car. The strange thing is we don't even know why we've got a safety car. No one's terminally stricken. Not since Wild Eyes, and it was me on that one on Wild Eyes a couple of laps ago. Wild Eyes didn't even bring about a safety car at all, just a little waved yellow flag. So you do sometimes question the validity of some of these random safety car moments. They pick quite funny times to do it, and then you find they're out for ages for no apparent reason, which means you have to fill in with a whole heap of bollocky. Breezy looking very, very racy today. Did have a 5-second lead, in fact, had an 8-second lead coming out of the pits, but that has been completely swallowed up by the safety car. Jamie losing out to Disco Bobby in that little pit window. You can see now that Jamie was running in second, is now tucked behind Disco Bobby. Costa Sar, he's in there. Geehouse is up there as well. We could potentially see a little bit of a charge on Breezy into turn 1. Of course, Breezy will take on the role of the safety car when it peels off, and I hope it does peel off at the end of this which is lap 18, so we can get back underway racing here. 18 laps have gone, 17 laps remain. You can officially call this the halfway point of this race. Breezy leads from Disco Bobby, from Jamie VG, Costa Sar, Gihas, Wombat, El Compadre, Gevi, Zippo Plays, and Bulk, Number, Jesper, Nibman, and Ties make up the 14. The safety car is indeed in this lap. Wild Eyes and It Was Me are did not finishers. So let's go on board with, I think we'll go on board with a bit of Jamie. Just so we can see the rundown. Now, of course, you'll see the AMG will peel off to the left-hand side as they come round this final turn. That will essentially make Breezy the safety car. It's down to him to pick a time to go. He's not going to do it just yet. You find here at Hungary, the best place to do it is as you get the car turned in and ready to go, and that's where you get your foot down. And it's always slightly better for the car in the lead, because they're much straighter and they can go full power. When you're sort of second and third and you're kind of half turning, you can't go full on the loud pedal, because the back of your car is just going to come around and meet the front, particularly because your tyres are going to be a little bit cooler, having been going much slower. So Breezy gets a little bit of an advantage and gets to blast on up the road with Disco Bobby and Jamie chasing him down. All very close. Anyone making any challenges at the moment? Doesn't look like it. At the back there, Nibman and Jesper battling it out a little touch. We need to be able to just go directly to the driver with a press of the key. That would be awesome. But that's where really the only really battle there. In terms of pace, they're all quite similar. Did I just see Jesper disappear off the racetrack? It looked to me like he did. I don't think he did, because he'd be a lot further back if he'd disappeared off. But it looked for a minute that he had disappeared off the racetrack. Let's have a look, see here if Bulk is making any moves on the back of Zippo Plays. And actually, it's Number getting involved as well. Bulk past Number, trying to make a move on Zippo Plays as he picks up a penalty of his own. Gevi, the other penalty carrier at the moment. So Number, who was one of the early front runners, got it all kinds of wrong early doors. Still not been able to fight their way through the pack as Gevi and Wombat duking it out up in 6th and 7th. Gevi moving up into 6th in that Alpine, and it looks like Wombat is going with him on a charge. Jesper making the move on Bulk way down at the back of the pack now. Ties. Now Ties has got some great pace, we've seen that, but also tends to spin the car a bit. As we get a little yellow flag in Sector 1, that'll be for Bulk. Bulk is dropping like a stone off that pace at the moment. So it is Gevi just behind Giaus. I say just behind, he's 1.6 seconds behind him. And behind them, you can see the battle raging on behind them. It's so much harder with my steering wheel than it is with my controller. El Compadre is ahead of Wombat, as Costa Sar picking up a 3-second time penalty from 4th. That's going to be music to the ears of the top 3 of Breezy, Disco Bobby and Jamie, and Breezy already 2 seconds clear, even though we've only just sent the safety car in. Looking good for Breezy then. It's a bit of a breeze for Breezy. DRS now enabled, so Zippo Plays out. Is that another safety car? It is indeed another safety car. So we go again. We all slow down, we all bunch up. Breezy must be absolutely headbutting his wheel. He's putting in phenomenal laps, he's pulling the gaps out. And then what happens? Safety car, another one. So that's It Was Me, that's Wild Eyes, and that's Zippo Plays out of this race thus far. Down to 13, unlucky for some, of course. Can we hold on to any more? We're at lap 21 of 35. We are expecting the safety car out probably for a couple of laps at least. We should go racing again somewhere around lap 23. There or thereabouts, of course. I'm going to take this opportunity to try and get my hand controller working again. There we go. It's just a little bit easier with the flicky controls for until they discover the wonders of the keyboard, where you can just press a number and that's the car you can jump to, as I'm able to do on GT7 and iRacing, but not and on Set of Corsa as well, but for some reason not on F1, because that would be far too complicated to organise. Bearing in mind that at least one third of the people that play it are actually on a bloody computer with a keyboard. Anyway, I love to dig people out for what it is I'm essentially the laziest man on the planet, and I want, even when I'm playing games, it to be as idiot-proof as possible. Few cars using the safety car to go in and change it out. Some tyres, Breezy being one of them. Losing a lot of time, Breezy, because not many cars opting to go in. It's down to 9th place, and Costa Sar with him down the bottom there. So it's some way off the leader at the moment. Still under the safety car, of course, so it will be bunched up, and it will be an opportunity for Breezy to make some moves, and he's clearly got the pace. But we haven't yet seen Breezy in amongst the pack. We've seen Breezy with a nice bit of clear air putting in super hot lap times, but we haven't seen what Breezy's capable of when faced with a big gaggle of cars ahead, because if he's going as quick as he has been, he's going to be happening upon the back of quite a few cars, and he's going to have to find a way to get past them here at Hungaroring. And it's not going to be the easiest job in the world, I don't think. His teammate now, Numbert, just by virtue of the few safety cars and pitching really, really early, now up to 6th, having spun early doors. His safety car in this lap as Bulk is 13 seconds behind Jesper, right at the back there. We're currently watching with El Compadre. We haven't spent much time with Disco Bobby up there in the lead of this race. Jamie was looking pretty racy, but Disco Bobby managed to leapfrog him. And not in a disco way. Safety car not in this lap. Oh, yes, it is in this lap. Bit of a late call there. Usually the call's a little bit sooner than that, but a bit of a late call here. So safety car does come in, and we go back underway. But this time, it's Disco Bobby that gets to decide when we go. And he has gone. But Jamie was alive and awake to this. And could we see a move into turn 1? He's got some great slipstream heading up behind that Mercedes-Benz. He's going to pull out up the inside, under braking. Jamie makes the move into turn 1, gets it all kinds of wrong with the back end though, and has to ditch it, almost losing that car completely. That was actually a very good save from Jamie, because he could very well have spun into Jamie. He could, spun into Disco Bobby, or disappeared off into oblivion on the grass. He's now got Geehouse right there with him, but he is now again getting on the back of troubling Disco Bobby. As soon as you're in the dirty air of the car in front, it is going to unsettle your car a little bit, and you just have to be as brave as you are with the loud pedal. You just have to be careful and control the slide at the back, and don't let, I mean, it's not good for your tyres either, of course, don't let that back step out. Just feather that throttle. The eagerness, of course, when you make the move is to get stamping on that pedal and blasting out the corner, and then the back end just goes nope, and that's nearly what happened to Jamie. A very good save. He saved his own life there. Excuse me. So we are watching on board from Geehouse at the moment, Geehouse Part 13, because the other 12 are not available, of course. And we're watching again, and this is Jamie again, very close. Let's get back on board with Jamie, because he's not quite as close as he was this time on the Mercedes-Benz, and he didn't quite get the same jump on Disco Bobby. It's almost like, although Disco Bobby became the de facto safety car at the end of that last lap, he kind of got caught napping. Is that he got on the loud pedal, but Jamie absolutely fully anticipated when he would, and just a couple of milliseconds sooner was able to get the power down. Now, of course, if Disco Bobby held back, Jamie may well have had to have backed off, and it could have been very different. But he's looking pretty racy, Jamie, at the moment. We are going to keep an eye on Breezy. Breezy 9th at the moment. He's in the pits again, Breezy. Only just coming out now, so I wonder what happened. There must have been a coming together at the back while we were watching this unfold out in front. This is why I would benefit from a second commentator for F1, just someone to keep an eye on the other goings-ons, but that requires some commitment from people, and obviously them having the game as well, which doesn't happen. So we're watching Jamie trying to chase down Disco Bobby, but Disco Bobby actually is doing all the right things. He is making sure he's got the car in all the places that Jamie wants to go, and he's just, I mean, it looks to me that Jamie's got the edge pretty much through every corner in terms of pace, but there's just no space for him to get that move done. DRS is now enabled, of course, which will allow that big wing there at the back to open. You won't see it here, of course not. It was enabled after this point. We'll see it open now though, or not. Choosing not to open his wing to use the DRS through that second DRS zone. So it must be at the end of this lap then. Maybe it wasn't activated just yet. Oh, he gets all kind of wide, does Jamie, and that gives Disco Bobby a little bit of impetus. And for a while now, at least, that charge is now over. Sorry if I'm getting away from my mic and standing up a little bit because my back is hurting. Let me sit back down. Let me sit back down because it's getting far too exciting and I'm far too tired for all this shizzle. Back in my chair. Back in my chair. Right, so full classified rundown, shall we? We've lost Numbel, we've lost Zippo Plays, we've lost Wild Eyes, and we've lost It Was Me, and that was on lap 1 as well. It Was Me was removed from the race. He was either unceremoniously dumped into a wall, or by either his equipment or another car, or just his own desire to stamp on that loud pedal with no traction control to stop him. Who knows? We might find out. We might never find out, and we don't really care. To be brutally honest, it's Disco Boy from Jamie, from Gihas, from Gevi. Then ties back up into that top 5. He's had 2 spins so far, and showed you phenomenal pace. You know, he was him and El Compadre, the 2 teammates, were scything their way through the field. There we go, it's disconnected again. Scything their way through the field when Ties ended up losing it. And we can see there that Breezy now starting to ramp up the pace. He's 9.2 seconds behind Costa Sar, who was 2 or 3 places behind Breezy. As we go into the last 10 laps of the race, and it just goes to show how things can change over the course of a race very quickly. At one stage, Breezy was 5 seconds clear and looking, to all intents and purposes, to be completely in control of this race. What I have noticed is the game sounds change from in-car to out-car. I want to raise them a little bit. There we go. We'd like to hear the cars, of course. Yeah, so Breezy had a nice gap. He's got significant work to do now. 8.7 seconds to Costa Sar. And in terms of lap times, it's not much difference between them. I don't have access to every lap they've chucked out over the last 27 laps. Should do, but I don't. And but Breezy now, he's got the fastest lap of the race, and we'll be using that impetus to try and fight back. But losing out, not leading this race as he would have liked to have been. Nibman making that move on Wombat. Where is Wombat? Wombat is, I can't even look backwards because that control is switched off. Wombat has gone, disappeared. He's an ex-Wombat, 7 odd seconds back, and the other half there, 7 seconds behind him. So there's the only real challenge on the racetrack at the moment, and it's Jamie on the back of Disco Bobby. Jamie has showed very good pace, very similar in pace to Breezy, certainly through the first half of this race. He's on the soft compound tyres now, whereas Disco Bobby ahead is on those. I think he's on the hards, isn't he? Let's get closer. Yeah, Jamie's not on the soft, he's on the hards as well. Jamie's on the hard compound tyres. Disco Bobby on the hard compound tyres. Gias is also on those hard compound tyres. That's your top 3. But Jamie, again, not quite close enough in that DRS zone between up to turn 1 to make that move into turn 1, and then can't really capitalise with that second DRS zone because he's not getting significant traction out of the corner. He is closing on Bobby. There's no doubt about it that gearbox of Bobby there is ever present in Jamie's vision, but the gaps just aren't there to put that Red Bull into. He would at the moment, I think he's kind of hoping that Disco Bobby makes a mistake and leaves the door open for him. Because at the moment, every potential gap he's seen is just getting shut down by Bobby. Bobby doing an amazing job, actually. Of this is defending your lead 101 with Disco Bobby. I think he's now got the vision. I don't know, does anyone remember Disco Steve? I can't remember what it was from. Was it like from Jackass or something like that? Where there was basically just a guy in his pants and just rock up and dance up high of random strangers. That's all I can see now. I can just see this Disco Bobby sitting in his pants on his playseat or his GT Omega or whatever it is, steering wheel in hand, just listening to some hardcore Eastern European house trance music and flinging that Mercedes-Benz around the Hungaro ring on a Sunday evening. Truth is, probably doing nothing like that, so probably sitting Morris on his couch and control of all I know. We are watching this chase, and it's the only real battle on the racetrack at the moment. There's nothing else really going on. Potentially a battle with Tyres and Gearhouse. Tyres is closing that gap. He's closed it to 7 tenths of a second in that, excuse me, Aston Martin. I'm losing my voice after a weekend of talking waffle at race cars. Just turning that down a little bit. It's a little bit loud in my ear and probably in yours too. So Tyres is 7 tenths of a second behind Gearhouse and getting closer. Jamie's not been able to just make that final push past Disco Bobby. And we're at 29 or 35 here at Hungaro Ring. If you didn't know already, this is the PGS Esports Formula 1. This is the pre-season test event. They're testing out the cars and the settings. I'm testing out the broadcasting, and everyone's testing everybody. All very, very good fun. But we're at the Hungaro Ring, which is an awesome circuit. Actually, we'll prefer this on the calendar. Whoa! Bye-bye, Gearhouse! And that promotes Tyres up into the lead of this race. So Gearhouse now, he's alive in that AlphaTauri. But how alive is he? How much damage has he got? And if he has got damage, what a horrible place for it to happen. Right next to the pit box. And he's got Bulk right there now, trying to get involved. Wrong button. There we go. There is Bulk behind the AlphaTauri, quietly going about his business and hoping that the AlphaTauri has got enough damage to maybe promote him up into that top 5. So Gevy gains a position. That puts him up to P4 in the Alpine. Bulk eyeing up a top 5 finish with that car ahead. Now, will the AlphaTauri come in? That's key. If the AlphaTauri does come in, he's going to lose a lot of space, a lot of track position. It's going to let Bulk through an El Compadre and Costa Sar. Maybe probably even Breezy, to be fair. Nibman, I think, is a little bit too far back to benefit in any meaningful way. He might be tucked in behind him a little closer with an opportunity to make an overtake. But he certainly won't be getting any free positions today. So we come around the last few corners. We're into sector 3. We're going to find out now if Gearhouse needs to go into the pits or if Bulk's going to have to get it done on the racetrack. And Gearhouse doesn't need to go in. He stays out here to complete lap 31. It's nearly over, folks. I can't believe it's nearly over. That was the scene of the crime. Survives this time, though, of course. And starting now just to... I was going to say starting to pull away from Bulk, but Bulk really closing in towards the end of that straight. So has the AlphaTauri got a little bit of damage that's costing him speed at the end of the straights? Or is it just the DRS pull that Bulk has that got him so close? He's having a little look at the AlphaTauri. He seems to have got a better run out of that particular corner. But but you can see now that Gearhouse is just pulling away again. Not quite got the full send, the full beans the Bulk needs to dive up the inside. Front of the car getting very wiggly wobbly. Wibbly wobbly. Can he close? Well, he can't. He's out of that 1 second range as well. So Gearhouse now just taking a little bit of control. I want to go that way, don't we? I hate this way of scrolling through. There's Jamie. Again, trying to get a run on Disco Bobby. Again, not close enough to be successful. Or is he? Under braking this time. As you can see, Jamie harvesting every single ounce of power that he can, just to bulk out that ERS battery, give him as much as possible to help him defend when Jamie's getting closer. So you're through those high-speed corners and out of the braking zone, just a little blast of that energy recovery to give him that extra little bit of horsepower when he knows the car behind him is in the slipstream and he's picking up a few extra miles per hour from that. And he's hammering his own ERS, and he's using the DRS assistance as well. That's when Disco Bobby's going to be spamming his ERS button just to try and eke out every extra bit of performance from that Mercedes-Benz. That's currently leading from Jamie VG in the Red Bull. And this was the battle that everyone wanted to see in Formula One this season. Mercedes versus Red Bull. Much closer than it has been, to be fair. I'm not sure how many people would prefer the Mercedes-Benz to be in the lead as it is. Certainly not me. Not a fan of Mercedes-Benz in the slightest. Hate them with a passion. I think any team that is given a full-on sweetheart deal and allowed 10 years of dominance in a sport has no place in that sport. He defends that inside line from Jamie because Jamie's coming. Very, very smart defending from Bobby there. But Jamie's going to have the run on him here. Does he get the job done? He's got the inside line as they come round into this braking zone, and he has got that job done. And Disco Bobby, despite defending well into turn one, couldn't stop the charge around the outside. And we have a new race leader. As we say that, the old race leader, or the old race leader, Breezy, down in 8th position. Still got the fastest lap of the race, but not... we've got Bulk up ahead, actually. I think Bulk was trying to make some moves there. Bulk closing on the back of Costa Star. Can he get this move done? No, into the braking zone and very lagging. And that's massive track limit violation. You can't go over there, man. You've got to stay on this black bit, not the grey bit on the side or the green bit or the red and white bit, but this black bit in between the two white lines. That's where your track limits lie. So no, it doesn't get that move done at all. Interestingly, nowhere to be seen, but the battle between those front two has brought Tyres into the mix. Now, we've seen Tyres twice spin that Aston Martin Cognizant around. We've seen Tyres plumb right last at the back of the pack. Now, Tyres getting very much involved in this fight for the lead of this race. Are we going to see any of these top three not in the top three in a couple of laps' time? I don't think so. I think these are your top three. Which way round they are, though, could be anybody's guess. Gevy in 4th, carrying a penalty, and it looks like Giehaus might actually gain a position with that penalty. And I tell you what, if he doesn't pay, I was going to say Costa Star, but Costa Star's got a penalty as well. Breezy, if he does pick up the pace, could potentially nick himself a place above Giehaus. So this is the battle for the 3 podium spots. In the lead is Jamie VG. Second, Disco Bobby, who just lost out to Jamie just a lap ago, is now trying to chase him down to regain that first place. And this is Tyres. Now, Tyres has been in and around this area twice. And twice he had to, this is the third time, and twice he has spun that car out and had to fight his way back through. Would not be surprised at all if we saw his name popping up as a potential driver of the day. I think it'll probably be someone like Bulk, because he was way down the order in 15th and fought his way up to 8th position. Behind that's Costa Star and Giehaus having a little battle between themselves. But I want to stay with this front three because we're on the last lap of the race and still anyone's to have. Any slip up at this stage, any mistake, and the win that is currently Jamie's changes hands. This, if no one makes a mistake, this is how they finish. Jamie from Disco Bobby from Tyres Coviero in this pre-season race here at Hungaro. I was going to say Interlagos, but it's not. It's Hungaro Ring. Into Sector 2 we go. Just 1.5 sectors left for Disco Bobby or Tyres to find a gap, to find somewhere they can dive up the inside. Some way of catching Jamie VG and taking the big bucks from the big boys. It looks to me, though, that this race is done in that respect. So we go with our race leader. There's Jamie VG in that Oracle Red Bull Racing motor car, for want of a better expression. Around the final corner they go. This is your 1, 2, 3. They're going to blast down towards the line. It's Jamie from Disco Bobby from Tyres Coviero. What a finish to this opening race of the season, with 3 drivers separated by 3/100ths of a second. Jamie, Disco Bobby and Tyres, that's your top 3. Very, very well done. But Jamie, you've got to give him credit for taking the win there. He stuck early doors with Breezy when Breezy was disappearing off into the distance, and now gets that win. That was good. You got to be happy with that, Jamie. To be fair, you got to be happy with that, because you spent so long stuck behind Disco Bobby, and he was defending so cleverly, just wasn't letting you through. Then you got that run on him into turn 1, made that move around the outside, made it stick, and absolutely the plaudits and the applause belongs to you, my friend. I do have some applause for you. I've lost it. Where's my applause? There it is. And when you went past Disco Ball, I bet I gave it a little bit of this.
How dare you!
But you got it done. Congratulations, mate. Very, very nice. Really, really enjoyed that race. That was fabulous. There is your winner. It is Jamie VG, a 1-1-2. We've learned some things for race number 1. El Compadre getting driver of the day. I'm not sure I agree with that. I would actually give it to Tyres. He spun a couple of times, but he's fought his way back. Gevy, how you doing, Lewis? Salguero. I pronounced that horribly, but yeah, awesome, welcome. It was interesting. We've learned that some really quick drivers out there. We've learned that even with spinning, that Tyres can still fight his way through. We've learned that Breezy is significantly faster in clear air than he is surrounded by traffic, because we saw him pulling away, making 5-second gaps out in front. But when it came time to fight his way through the traffic, wasn't really finding that pace. But it's all about Jamie, who takes the win in this opening pre-season tournament. A lot of people do, mate. A lot of people do listen to the comments because they want to get an insight on what the people around them are doing. It's a usual kind of scenario. But full classified rundown. Let's do this shit, shall we? Let's be race director. Jamie VG in the Red Bull takes the win from 3rd on the grid. In the Mercedes-Benz, Disco Bobby home in 2nd. 3rd, and rounding out that the podium place, is Tyres Coviero in the Aston Martin. Breezy in the Williams eventually came home in 4th. That was by virtue of the penalties. Gevy in 5th. Giehaus in 6th in the Alpha Tauri. El Compadre in the Aston Martin home in 7th. 8th was Costa Star in the Alpine. Bulk in that Red Bull home in 9th. Nibman in the other Mercedes-Benz home in 10th. 11th was Jesper. 12th was Wombat. And then we had Numbea Zippo plays Wide Eyes. And it was me, all as I did not finish. And I did it in the time allocated. You notice that? I usually don't get them done. There we have it. Done and done and done. How about that? How would you like them apples? That was pretty good, wasn't it? That was a little bit good. Hopefully we will sort out the issues with broadcasting next week, and we'll be able to get everything chucked into the correct places. Other than that, I don't know. I think the problem with Twitch is that you can't, they're not going to allow multi-streaming in different pages on Twitch. I know you can do it with, you have to set up the broadcasts on YouTube, you can do it, but with Twitch, you can't, it wouldn't allow me to set a specific stream key for a specific broadcast, just an overall one, which is another reason why I hate Twitch. Twitch is for 12-year-olds and for girls who are too ugly for OnlyFans. Anyway, moving swiftly on. We are done for this week. I've been Adam Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, broadcasting for PGS Esports Formula 1, and it's been emotional.